Here we continue learning about tefillah a few minutes every day, and we're up to the type of tefillah called kriya, calling out to Hashem. And we learned yesterday that the basis of this type of tefillah comes from the pasuk in Tehillim, but tzarli, that when one is in tsar, what does he do? Ekra Hashem, he calls out to Hashem. And we spoke yesterday how this is so fundamental, so basic. And sometimes the more basic, the more simplistic it is, the greater it is. The calling out with the knowledge, with the understanding, with the visceral realization that Hashem is right in front of you. A real and true entity right in front of you. That is this form of tefillah called kriya. And it's actually beautiful. We're in the middle of slichas right now. And Rav Shimshon Binka says, you know where do we find this type of tefillah called kriya? We find it right before the Yud Gimel Middos that we're saying now so many times, that we're going to say throughout Rosh Hashanah Yom Kippur countless times. What does it say? It says, Vayavar Hashem al panav, and Hashem passed by him. And what was going on at that moment? Shimshon Binkus paints us a beautiful story, beautiful picture, Moshe Rabbeinu haya bereged shel pachad. Moshe Rabbeinu was nervous, v'charada neira, and he was trembling. Why was Moshe Rabbeinu trembling? Because kol ha'ashira shekibel, all the wealth he received, the Torah he received, the nitzchi is the eternity of Am Yisrael that he received, was all at stake. Everything was this moment. Klal Yisrael worshiped the Egel, and Rachmana litzlan, everything could be lost right now. At this critical moment, at this climax, what happens? Vayavar Hashem al panav. Hashem passes by. So right here, at perhaps the most important moment of all of history, because right now Hashem could decide to destroy Klal Yisrael. What type of tefillah does Moshe Rabbeinu use right now? Says Rav Shimshon Binkus, what is the next word? Vayavar Hashem al panav, vayikra. And he called out. And he called out. What did he call out? He called out Hashem. What does that mean? Explains of Shimshon Binkus that the Vayikra, the calling out, that itself is a form of tefillah. And he says Kaviyachol. You know what Moshe Rabbeinu was saying? And I'm reading this from inside in the Hebrew edition, page 86. He was calling out Hashem. Kaviyachol Kaimer, as if someone's saying, as if Moshe Rabbeinu was turning to Hashem and saying, hello, hello, Hashem. Mahave kol havayis, and he brought everything from nothingness. Hashem, you are the entity. You are the only entity that could resurrect and bring all of Klal Yisrael back right now. Ain't soifiyas shel kayach. There's no end to your greatness. With that recognition, with that knowledge of whom he is calling out to, that is Vayavar Hashem al panav. With the realization Hashem is right in front of him, Vayikra, and he calls out Hashem, Hashem. The calling out is almost a form of hakdama to tefillah. It's a form of preparation, not only preparation, but introducing the tefillah. What's it introducing? It's the introduction that you're realizing to whom you are talking to. Whom are we talking to? Hashem, the entity that could do anything. And he gives a mashal. If someone's walking down the street and there's a robber that comes over to him, and maybe someone pulls out a gun and he sees the police coming by. So he screams out to the police. What does he scream out? He says, police, police. He says the word police, connoting not only that he wants the police to hear him, but that is itself the cry, the call, the plea for help is police. The entity of police, I need you to help me. So too when we call out to Hashem, the entity of Hashem, the Vayikra, Hashem, with the knowledge, with the understanding, what is Hashem? Whom is Hashem? What koiches, what power is there to Hashem? That's this tefillah called kriya. So if we combine this with what we learned yesterday, if we understand how simple it is, but of course sometimes the simplest things are the most difficult, with the realization that yes, there's a real flesh and blood, a kiviyachal entity in front of us. Just like Moshe Rabbeinu at that apex, at that critical moment, what does he do? He realizes Hashem, Vayikra. And every day, hopefully, as we say these words, we could slowly start to realize that we're talking to a real entity in front of us. We're introducing our tefillos with this realization. Wow, God, the Almighty, that could do everything, Vayikra, is right here in front of us. And only then do we say the Yud Gimel Middos.